Hey there, everybody. Yes, you read that right. People drawing cylinders wrong. They're drawing them wrong. And here's a clear example of a wrong cylinder. And I'm just gonna say it.
Happens to be wrong.
And this one is right. So what's the difference between the two? Now you'll see the only difference is that the bottom faces are different. So this one that's wrong, the bottom face is really thin. It's actually the same size as the top face of the cylinder. But on the one that's right, the bottom face is a lot larger than the top face. So why does this make uh, the one on the left wrong and the one on the right right? Well, that's because of perspective. So this is the horizon line right here. This is where your eye level is going to be at, or the level of the camera. So the more the more you go below the horizon line, the more of an object you're going to see. And the same with the top. The more an object goes above the horizon line, the more of that object you're going to see. So you can see here, the top plane and the bottom plane are the same size. So that makes it, or it's wrong because it's the same size. This bottom plane should be a lot larger because it's further away from the horizon line. And you can see that illustrated here, since it's farther from the horizon line, it's a lot larger. And so that's what makes this one right. Remember this one, oh, that's black. So it makes this one right and this one wrong. So let me show you that horizon line uh, illustration real quick. So this here, this black line is the horizon line. It's the horizon line, and you can see that these are circles. And so as the circle, you're looking at it from the side, as it comes to the horizon line or eye level, it just barely looks like a line. But as you move it further away from the horizon line, that circle, that ellipse becomes wider. And I'm going to draw the edges or connect these lines, these ellipses, so you can see that it's in fact a cylinder. Good lord. Here we go. One more try. That side, one more side, and you can see that if the cylinder has the top plane or the top face at eye level, so it looks flat, and the bottom of it is a lot further than the top plane, so it's wider. And if I was to erase some of these lines, let's say I'll erase this one, you can see that the cylinders are still in perspective. So we have two separate cylinders, one right here and one down here. Now the bottom plane of this new cylinder is thinner than the top plane of the bottom cylinder. That's because it's lower compared to the horizon line. If we cut this second cylinder in half, this is what that face would look like. So I have another example of how you can look at it. So if we looked at this from the side view, you'll see that we are actually looking at, so this is really a circle. If we looked at the top of it, it would be just a circle like that, but more perfect. So so what we're looking at is that each edge is at a different angle compared to our eyes, or in relation to our eyes, the horizon line. Wherever we are viewing the cylinder from our point of view. So to illustrate, I have this here, and she is just overcome with joy that I'm doing this here. I'm explaining it finally. And so here's the horizon line. This is the eye level. And this is the cylinder that we're going to be looking at, or at least each face, the top face and the bottom face. So the lines, or we're going to see each edge of the face at a different angle. So this would be one angle, this would be another angle, and they will connect to the lines. I mean, the eye line. So that would be something like that. and I have that drawn here. The angles at the horizon line and our line of sight to the edge of each face is illustrated up here. But what we're looking for is the distance between the two angles. So this is the distance between the two angles for the top plane and the distance for the two angles for the bottom plane of the cylinder. And you can see that this one is much larger than the one on top. And if we drew another one, we drew it much closer to, gotta change that. If we drew it much closer to the horizon line, you'll see that those angles, or this measurement here, as well as the angles actually, will still, sweet Jesus, they will be smaller, even smaller than our top cylinder here. So you can see already that the distance between the two angles is much smaller than the other two. And if the top face of the cylinder was all in the horizon line, let me redraw that, was at the top of the horizon line, you would see that the angle was pretty much at 0 degrees. So this face that we're looking at would be flat. And so looking at this, these measurements between the angles, you could see this coincides with this illustration that I drew here. As it gets further from the horizon line, the distance between the two angles, between the two edges of the face, gets larger. So if we were to take those angles, these angles here, and actually use them to draw our cylinder, if we were in her point of view looking at the cylinder, then that would come out looking like this. So you can see, using those lines, those angles, we've drawn the cylinder. So this is what it would look like if we were in her point of view. Isn't it magic? Just magical. So, armed with that knowledge, go draw your cylinders correctly.